I seem to have a theme of childlike joy of the world, like a discovery of sort of this fantasy, sort of magical aliveness in the world, like a living experience where children go out. I have a lot of paintings of kids doing like these expeditions and like traveling on magical birds or magical forests. And I think that a lot of that actually stems from, honestly, my childhood. I spent a lot of time outside. I spent a lot of time exploring. My paintings are also a reflection of today. My children are a massive part in what I create. I actually hadn't started painting the paintings I've done now until my son was born. This is almost like 5 years ago. And he was just this catalyst of this childlike joy and wonder. I got to experience, like through his eyes, these really magical moments of just seeing something that is probably mundane to me, but was so exciting for him. Like seeing a dragonfly for the first time, or looking in the ground and seeing a little bug, or just going to a river for like the first time and splashing along the edge. I mean, it was just, I got to experience that with him. So a lot of my work was also facilitated through that. I would say that innately, I am not a person who actually thinks like this. I struggle to see very bright and joyful things. I struggle for joy, if I were to be honest with you. When I make pieces like this, they remind me of what is true and beautiful, and they uplift me as I'm painting them. And eventually, after I finish a piece, I just have this immense gratitude. I'm just so thankful for what I have. So these pieces, like, they are very bright and vibrant, but a lot of it is just a culmination of just like holding on to the beautiful and the good. It's not something that I'm innately always being. It's something I have to just make as a reminder. I was not a Christian in my life, so pre-Christ, art became a sort of idol. It was a sense of self-worship for sure, and it was very crushing. But I still had the desire to make it. Like, I just couldn't stop wanting to. And so I really had to figure this out. And then now becoming a Christian, I still love to do this. I know that what I'm creating is not just, it's glorifying Christ, but it's also a sense of worshiping him. When I make pieces, it's all for him. And in the context of like when I make these paintings and I think about people in my life, all the stories I want to craft, all the things I want to draw, all are talking about us, but also pointing to Christ. I had like a journey where I spent like a year, I didn't make anything. I just stopped because I had this sort of crisis as a Christian where I was just like, it's idolatry, I can't do it. I'm serious. I went to a lexicon, it's a science fiction and fantasy illustration like conference and a convention too. So it's like all these artists had like these beautiful oil paintings. They all looked like high Renaissance paintings, but they're all like mythological creatures and all this stuff. And it's fun. It was a really great time. But I went there and I was like, man, this is in a dark direction. There's a lot of stuff that obviously sells very well, and it's just not godly. Like some of it's like tame and fine and beautiful, but majority of it isn't. So I had to take a year off of art to kind of find myself again. And I think that as I did that whole year off, I had my son Grayson, and there was COVID, and I found this gouache course because I met somebody at the convention who was teaching it, and I was like, I'm going to do gouache. I'm just going to do landscapes and just figure out what I'm doing with my life, and maybe I'll do figures later, because I had to kind of like take away my sort of vision of what figures are. So I had to revisit what is honoring the Lord, but also like is a compelling piece and then attracts people to it. And so I just had to like explore painters. Actually, I explored a lot of 20th century golden age illustrators and just how they composed clothing and their figures and how they moved. Like it was very much like a play. After a year of that, I was like, I feel more confident because I let go of what I thought I needed to do. And then I was like, I feel way more confident to just do this childlike work, but full of wonder, and it appeals to adults and children. And I think this is something I want to do. And so it's just so much more freeing. I certainly did not just arrive here. It's not like I became a Christian and I was like, figured it out. He's just like molded me more and more over time, being like, I'm going to poke at this thing that you're worshiping of yourself. I'm going to poke at this thing that you're just putting too much of yourself in. And it's freed me up to be the artist that I feel like I can be, you know? I have many conversations with Drew about this because it's a constant dialogue of like, how much time do I put towards it? Where do I allocate it? Balancing my family and painting. But he's very, like, I'm thankful I have a husband who's very supportive of me, saying like, this is gonna be for good, and it's gonna be for generations beyond us. It could be for our children. Like, the best thing that comes out of this is that my children go off in the world and write amazing stories or work in film or do animation. I'm like, I did it. Like, this is the work that pushes forward to generations beyond me. Like, it's not about me per se. With my children's, they will just have their own sketchbooks now. And they're like, my son is 4. My daughter is 3. And it's really beautiful because I didn't actually get that as a child. Like, my children see what we do, but it's all like very good. Like, my son is he's drawing all these little like characters, and my daughter like drew like a balloon monster the other day. And I know it's like, it seems like childhood, but really it's like a formation of their imagination. That's something that they're going to carry on like with very good memories the rest of their life. Reading stories to my kids, helping them we've just finished Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, and that was really lovely. Like, the funny thing is I've actually never read it. So I got to experience it with my kids again, and it's just really beautiful because I get to see this imagery, and then my children get to talk about the lion. They really just love the lion, Aslan. And then we talk about like, what is a fawn? Like, what are these characters? And I just think that like it just awakens their imagination. And I think doing art and like facilitating art is something that makes them more in tune with the magic of the world, the beauty of the world. I think it brings them closer to God's creation. So I think that like formulating that at a young age has just been beautiful. I mean, and as a mother, I never imagined I'd be a mother. And here I am. And secondly, I just never imagined it being so enriching. Like, I had a hard time wondering how to connect. Like, I love art, love my children, but how do I make this click? And the most fascinating thing is it has been happening just naturally. It doesn't even take like a lot of struggle or work. So that's been beautiful.